I think I think I should pay my light bill. I think that the light bill is we're getting a little dark here. Lighting. I'll work on that, guys. I will work on that. I'll brighten this all up in post. Oh, what am I doing? So I wanted to come on, and I wasn't planning on doing anything. I wasn't planning on doing a video or anything like that, but I wanted to come on and talk about what just happened with the Royals game tonight. He wrote in like John Wayne, like Clint Eastwood, like somebody who's awesome, doing something that's awesome, saving the Indiana Jones, Luke Skywalker, just Salvador Lorenzo Herrera Perez was awesome. What is his middle name? Somebody look. What is Salvi's middle name? I'll look that up here. But Salvi, oh my goodness sake, Salvi. We need you on the Royals like the church needs Jesus. Oh, like everybody needs Jesus. Oh my gosh. How did we get along without that guy? This guy tonight, like the Royals pitching staff with Salvi, and again, don't quote me on this, but the Royals pitching staff with Salvi, they had an ERA. All right. Anyways, it was his first game back. Salvi, he was on the DL for about 2 weeks, two and a half weeks, and today was his first game back. And during that time, the Royals, he's the catcher. He's a stud, 5-time All-Star. He's a future Hall of Famer in my book. And tonight's game, he should go in the Hall of Fame just for tonight's game alone, because that guy was a man and a half tonight. Also, Danny Duffy looked so much better with Salvi behind the plate than he did with Butera, who, was, allowing pass balls left and right and didn't really know how to call games. It's amazing how much better this team is with Salvador Lincoln Perez behind the home plate. This guy, I've never seen a player have this effect on a team. I was maybe George Brett, but he did, obviously. George Brett did for the Royals. But I was a little too young for that, honestly, back in, I started watching when Bo was coming. That's why the jersey's up. And so I was a little young to see it's Salvador Johan Perez Diaz, aka Salvi. Imagine if Butera did hurt that guy in the World Series Classic or whatever that was in the offseason. Imagine if Butera did hurt him. That the Royals would be they would be as bad as the White Sox if Salvi was not behind the plate. Duffy looked like a Cy Young Award winner against a legitimate team. Duffy came in, and we needed Duffy to pitch a gym, and he pitched a freaking gym. Oh, this is my other rant. Umpires, stop sucking, okay? You guys are all... The Major League Baseball, and I've mainly watched a lot of the Royals games this year. And pretty much, I would say 2/3 of the game, or 2/3 of the games that I've watched, there has been horrible umping behind the home plate, where they really, there's no consistency with the strike zone. And my philosophy is that if it's a borderline pitch, give it a strike. Call it a strike. Speed the game up. Speed the game. You always want to talk about speed the game up. Speed the game up. And it's not fair to a pitcher who makes great pitches. If you're going to give that borderline pitch, it's a strike. If you're going to call it a ball. This guy was terrible behind home plate tonight. I don't know what his name was, but he better save a person's life. this week. Otherwise, he is just a bad person, too. For this you don't know that reference, one of the umpires who was screwing over the Royals earlier this season had one of the worst games of the season. I had one of the worst games I've ever seen an umpire have. A couple days later, he saves a woman's life, and we're all like, yeah, well, you're not so bad. Yeah. So, but yeah, major league umpires, and these guys, they're being sissies too. Oh my gosh, we're gonna stand in solid. Like, what is this? How, everybody, well, we have to stand in solidarity, support each other. We're protesting. It's a silent protest. Give me, why? When did we become a nation of protesters? 1776. But beyond that, okay? Why what is this? We're protesting any and everything now. I mean, the umpires were protesting abusive language anthem. Well, you know what? They're terrible. Like, by the players. The players were like, hey, no, they were confronting their calls and like saying, hey, stop making bad calls. You guys are making bad calls. That was a bad call. You need to stop doing that. Like it's been happening ever since it was baseball. Okay? All right? Players are going to argue with the umpire. It's just a part of the game. You know this when you signed up for it. And now all of a sudden, we're all turning into snowflakes. They're all, I'm not, but I probably would be if I were them too. But they're turning into a bunch of sissies. And not only that, they're being awful. They all suck. I mean, I don't know how many times I'm watching a Royals game and they're missing, like, the guy, their strike zone's awful. And that guy today cost Duffy a no-hitter. In the sixth inning, the guy, Duffy, strikes out a guy in a 3-2 pitch. Guy calls it a ball. He was just awful. He was awful, and there needs to be accountability. There needs to be some sort of accountability with the umpires. They need to get better. Otherwise, you're going to have more people complaining about your crappiness. Because guess what? If you're crappy, you're going to hear about it. That's what you signed up for, all right? And don't, come at us with this, hey, they did some protest because they were getting yelled at. Yeah, stop sucking. Because you suck. You sucked at what you guys do. I mean, this year has been the worst I've ever seen the umpires. And Joe West, stop making it about yourself, Joe West and everybody. It's not about you guys, man. We didn't pay to see you. All right? Throwing out people for moving the on-deck circle. That was really funny. Who was it that got thrown out? Was it the guy from Texas? What was his name? Yeah, he moved the on-deck circle. It was hilarious. And the guy threw it. The umpire threw him out. It's not about you guys. Stop making everything about you guys. Be more consistent. Have higher standards. All right? Have some respect for yourself. All right? You know what? If you make good calls, people aren't going to yell at you. All right? Heck, you guys have freaking instant replay. And you guys are still, sucking. How is that possible? They could get a robot to do your job. And they probably will. I was totally against that until I'm watching the games. And the game tonight, Duffy did not deserve that line. He did not deserve to give up those runs. He struck the guy out. Screw you with that call, man. That's a terrible call. They're just really bad, and they're complaining now because they're getting yelled at. Well, yeah, you all suck. Anyways, Salvador Perez. Salvador Perez took over the game for the Royals in one of the most epic games. So what happened was Salvi comes in on his white knight. On his white knight, the pitching staff, the ERA when Salvador Perez was out for the Royals, the ERA for the Royals, it was probably in the high teens. Okay, the whole pitching staff was awful. They all sucked. Every one of them had just terrible outing after terrible outing, and it was patchwork. And it was just a roll. Every game was a roller coaster ride. Even the A's, they barely won the series against the A's, who quit playing baseball back in May. All right, so they barely won that series, and thanks to just, I guess, like, bad pitch I don't know what it was, but Sal, you could definitely tell a difference between that team tonight and what we saw the last 2 weeks from that makeshift team. Salvi, please don't ever get hurt. And in the ninth inning, all right, with the bases loaded and Herrera struggling to find the strike zone with 2 balls and no strikes and the bases loaded and the tying run on third, Salvi says, hold up, get out here, get this guy out of here. All right, get this guy out of here. He doesn't have it. His arm's not there right now. Get him out of there. We need to win this freaking game. Yeah. Thank you, John Wayne. Thank you, Salvador Perez, Salvador Perez, the guy who just completely owns this team right now. He should take Gordon's money. Salvador Perez, the guy, he's a future Hall of Famer, all right? And what he did tonight should put him in the Hall of Fame all by himself, because he single-handedly won this game for his team tonight. Now, Duffy pitched really well. Duffy was the Duffy that I think we all expected him to be tonight, and kudos to him. But I don't know. I am thinking a big part of that was Salvador Perez. And I do want to apologize to Danny Duffy, because I think I mocked you on yesterday's podcast, because you had been really bad for like the last 5 outings, but I didn't understand that you don't pitch well when, maybe it's probably not all your fault. It's probably because Butera sucks back there at catching. And you didn't know how to, interact with him. And so I don't know, but you guys are a completely different team with Salvador Perez. All right, let's go make a playoff run, guys. I hope Herrera's not hurt too badly, because that was really scary. But Salvador Perez saved the game by getting him out of there, and by blocking a bunch of pass balls in that 9th inning that Butera would have let cross between his legs. So, dude, thank you, Salvi. I will be forever, ever, ever, ever indebted to you. I'll actually go see your, I'll go to your Hall of Fame induction, Salvi. Mark my words, I'm going to your Hall of Fame induction. Kansas City will be forever indebted to you for what you've done to this city. So, yeah, Salvi Splash. Haha. Oh, jeez.